recap last weekend quick before we move forward into Lindenwood. It was disappointing in terms of result, but we felt our team played well enough to win both games. We had leads in both games. 20 seconds left on Saturday, they scored with the extra attacker, and then we lose in the 3-on-3 overtime. Great atmosphere, great road trip, all in all, in terms of how we can grow as a program. And that's again, as I've spoke to in previous weeks, that's our challenge, is just taking those lessons, showing up, and opening ourselves up to learn from them. And excited to play again right away here Friday and Saturday.
I mean, response from the team in practice. I know you guys have been swept before. I mean, open the season, so you're sort of in this familiar territory. But what kind of response have you seen from the guys in practice this week?
Our guys have been outstanding in practice, and that's what's so encouraging. And you see, we're scoring goals, okay? And we got out to a 4-2 lead on Friday, and we can't ignore there were some crazy caroms and bounces, and not just one or two. And in college hockey, if you're going to win games, those are really hard to come back from. We did fight back on Saturday with a power play goal. One of our freshmen on the power play puts one home and gives us a chance. And then one of their skill guys scores with 20 seconds. And the 3-on-3 is like a skills competition. For all intents and purposes, it's a tie. But it feels like a loss. And there's two sides of it. I was disappointed our guys didn't get the result I felt they deserved, but there's a whole lot to learn because it's hard to win games in college hockey, and you got to be bulletproof. You can't let little mistakes mount. You can't let penalties creep into your game, and that's some of the emotional youth that we're trying to grow from.
4 of 11 on the power play. What was really working for the special teams? I mean, what's kind of been working for?
Chemistry, time. I mean, that's one thing you see early. Like the veteran teams that have a power play returning, they have it. They score a bunch of goals early, and then other teams start to make adjustments, and it kind of evens itself out. We have personnel changing every week. We have guys maybe not on the power play right now that are deserving to be on the power play and would make us better on the power play. As coaches, that's our challenge, to find out who those people are and put them on the right seats on the bus. But, proud of our power play responding. Again, it's another week that I say there's different guys finding new life. And once you get enough of those guys playing well together, then you're going to see a better hockey team than you've seen to this point.
You guys ran into penalty problems, too, like you said, kind of creeping into the second and third period specifically in those two games. When you're trying to close out games, I mean, how challenging is that to give up those penalties?
It's challenging. It ruins your flow, and I think depth has been a strength. And where we're at, we're trying to develop players. You can't develop all your guys when you're either on the power play or on the penalty kill. You just aren't prepared to play all your guys in that situation, and it throws your rhythm off. But if you look at who's taking the penalties when, these are young players experiencing big moments for the first time. They're all heart. They're all energy. They got to learn from them, and sometimes these lessons are tough ones.
Yeah, the second line, I mean, it's definitely a line I want to highlight. Owen Vaughn, Jack Jensen, Ryan Demosky, I mean, they put up 7 points over the weekend. I mean, it seems like your top 6 is really sort of becoming solidified in a way. Is that fair to say? I mean, how is that second line really coming along, too?
You can put a number on them. I mean, after Friday, Ben Trombley was our top scorer. We had Ben Trombley and Quinn Rudrud, who were at the top of scoring. Neither of those guys played last year. That's what's exciting. These guys are coming off a whole season without playing, and they're finding some success. And then on another night, a different group answers. So we've seen it. I mean, Nomofsky, he's one of the top scoring, returning point scorers in college hockey. He's going to find his points. There's guys starting to emerge, and the results will follow. We just got to get enough of guys arriving on time.
What are your thoughts on Lindenwood?
They're ahead of where we were. They are where we want to be, I guess I should say. They lived our life last year, okay, as an upstart team. They inherited some club players as they made the move to Division One. They played a lot of good teams. They're not afraid to take on anyone, and they've hung in there and put up a fight. Whether you talk to the University of Minnesota or Arizona State, whoever they played, St. Thomas, the feedback has been you're in for a long night, and they're just going to keep coming. They've had some excellent goaltending. They can skate, so we're in for a tough challenge.
Is there any benefit to I mean, just any takeaway specifically from going against a team in a similar situation in more of an upstart Division One team?
I mean, I think so. You gauge where you're at. That's kind of what we're doing right now, is trying to see where we're at. You're learning lessons because they've lived a lot of things and had success and maybe things that haven't worked out for them in their first season. And if we can learn anything from that, and these coaches have been incredible in what they're willing to share, I think it wouldn't be. I wouldn't be doing my job if I wasn't asking these questions to their staff and their program to best prepare ourselves.
What are some of the things that you're looking to ask them?
Just what's their experience, and that's really it. And they usually are pretty, like I said, pretty open to communicating things that worked out really well, things they wish they would have done differently. And whether it be scheduling, whether it be personnel, whether it be managing their energy, they played on the road an awful lot. Your Vikings are going to play on the road an awful lot this year, and how you manage your guys athletically and academically, physically, it's going to become a real factor in our equation here.
What have you learned so far from those experiences?
I know that for us, putting a premium on the type of person, the type of student athlete who really valued experience, who really valued Augustana University and the opportunity, we put a priority on those people over talent. The way these guys have come together, and that's to say we don't have a talented group. I'm just saying how these guys have come together, how they compete, how they're eager to learn, how they've accepted this building process. I've been pretty impressed with our group, and it makes me excited for the future of Augustana hockey.
Coach, you personally, you mentioned that putting a premium on the character. It's and like you said, not so much to take away that you aren't bringing in talented people, but you really want high character guys. Is that philosophy derived from anything that you've experienced in the past? I mean, is there other coaches in the past that have sort of
That's all we've done anywhere I am, is recruit great kids. Championship type people who value one another, who value the university and want nothing more than to win a championship for their university and their team. The other stuff will follow. There's enough talented hockey players out there, but you really have to get to know who they are, and if they're your type of people and they believe in what you're trying to build and what you're trying to do, it's incredible, because ultimately they're the ones that drive the bus, especially if they're going to be wildly successful as a team. It'll be player-led. Early on, we're fortunate to have some experienced leaders on this team who have taken a hold, and they're doing a darn good job of laying the foundation early on here. College hockey, I keep going to college hockey all over the country. Teams are getting better. Everyone's figuring out their group. Everyone's adjusting. We're no different. We have to keep up with them. You see teams early in seasons, in our situation, they can get a win here and there, surprise a team. But then usually it planes out, and you see everything kind of settles in. It becomes harder for these young teams. And young, I mean new, as a group together. We're competitive right now. We felt winning. We've felt success. We want to continue to feel those moments, but they just don't happen. You have to show up and you have to work.